Welcome to Creative Living, where we help you live your most creative life. I'm Jane Klaus. Well, we're into the new year, and it's a time when resolutions start to fall off and we all go back to our regular routines. You know what I'm talking about. So today, we've got some great tips to keep those resolutions going, at least for a few more months. But first, let's see what's coming up on the show. We'll tell you why 7 days may be the magic number to get you on a path to healthy eating. And a family-owned company that can transform your home with a remodel. Plus, ways to organize your old photos and media. That and much more on this episode of Creative Living. Food is at the heart of everything we do, and we know being on the path to good health means eating the right foods. Maybe you're not on that path right now. So here to help us out is registered dietitian and nutritionist, Dawn Jackson Blattner. Hey, Dawn.
Hey, how are you?
So what is your advice for all of us to eat better and get on the path to start eating better?
Okay, here's the deal. I believe so strongly in this, I can't even tell you. 7-day challenges. I think they are magic. And here's why. Most of the time when someone says, I want to eat better, they do a major overhaul. They start throwing away things. They start stocking up on food they don't even know what to do with. It's all misery. It's all overwhelming. It's all restriction. It's all dieting. It's all boo. I give it a big thumbs down. Instead, thinking about 7-day challenges is where you only pick one thing, you focus on that one thing for 7 days, and guess what that creates? Momentum. And all of a sudden you start doing more and more healthy things by just assigning yourself one 7-day challenge each week.
So a 7-day challenge sounds sort of like a small task. It's a small accomplishment. Do you recommend doing that because people would get overwhelmed otherwise?
Oh yeah, people and me. I mean, the reason why I really know 7-day challenges work is because I am not just like a preacher. I'm a practicer of all of this stuff. And it's hard, right, to get everything so right. And so it's like, hey, 7 days I could focus on drinking 100 ounces of water. Okay, I could do that. Then the next 7 days I could focus on adding a salad to my lunch or dinner. Okay, I could do that. Then the next 7 days I can clean up my snacks, I can do that. And then all of a sudden you look back and you think, wow, I've come a long way, baby.
Let's just take it from your book, Superfood Swaps. Are there any easy swaps that we can do today to set us on the path to healthy eating?
Yeah, so I'm a big believer in swaps. As opposed to getting rid of something in your diet, like, oh, I gotta get rid of this, I gotta get rid of this. What can you add in, right? So it's like, if I had to say number one sort of thing, is look at what you love to eat and start making swaps with that. So like, I love tacos. I mean, who doesn't love tacos, right? So you think, okay, instead of getting rid of tacos, how can I make them better? So maybe it's a whole corn tortilla instead of a white flour shell. Maybe I make it a taco salad so there's more vegetables in it. Or maybe I'm using lentils instead of beef. And so it's not, such a big deal. It's not sad. It's actually a happy thing.
Give us your 3 tips on how to clean up our eating.
All right, it all goes back to the 7-day challenge. Don't do this all at once. Assign yourself 7-day challenges. The first one, more water. I mean, we all know that your life would be so much better with more water. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. And then once you get that for a week, think about doing a more ratio happy plate where there's more vegetables and less of the other stuff on your plate. So shifting ratios for a week. And then the final one would be to look at your sugar and white flour. You don't have to get rid of it, but cutting down instead of out, it would be literally the 3 most important, powerful things that you could do.
Dawn Jackson Blattner, you are amazing. Thank you so much for all of that great information.
Bye, thanks for having me.
You bet. For more information on Dawn, or if you have additional questions or want more information, just head to her website. If you decided to update your home this year, make sure you find the right company. The experts at Murray Lampert have been providing outstanding service to homeowners since 1975.
An ADU is accessory dwelling unit and has become one of the most popular solutions to housing in the United States. In California, over the last decade, they significantly reduced the amount of regulation for a structure like this so that people could provide homes either as extra rental properties or for family members. We constructed this to provide housing for my mother, who is elderly.
Well, I wanted to downsize. At my age, that's what I wanted to do. Initially, my involvement was through the computer because Eric engaged the services of Murray Lambert, a top building company, and selection of design and materials and different patterns. Allison engaged me every step of the way.
This is an 825 square foot structure, but it actually looks more like 1,000 because of the spatial considerations. Micah was great. He took the ball and ran with it and came up with this really great combination.
It always appealed to me, high ceilings. It gives a sense of space, of openness, and I like that. I feel involved. I'm very much part of the process, and that's very respectful and meaningful to me, especially at my age. I am 94 years old.
The aesthetic features like the front of the home, the large door and the elevated windows, and there's a column that divides the structure that looks very modern. It looks like a Guggenheim museum piece, and it's a different color. And it was a pleasant surprise. And I could tell that the tradesmen, whether it was stucco, framers, concrete guys, they all kind of fell in love with the design. You could tell. They were really excited about, the features of this, this small little project.
I felt a real sense of integrity there and commitment, and I was impressed. And it was easy, it was fun. Oh, I would give this experience a 10 for sure. Plus, 10 plus.
One of the top resolutions every year is to get in shape or lose weight. So this year, why not make it the goal to work out to feel better? So instead of obsessing over the scale and numbers, obsess over how amazing you feel when you're more active. But before you lace up your shoes for that workout, let's just take a look at what's coming up on the show. A trip to the auto show to check out the latest trends in cars, and how to give new life to your old photos. If you're looking to upgrade your ride this year, then you need to see the hottest new cars heading to the market. Auto Trader is taking us to California to preview the newest cars rolling off the assembly line.
As if beautiful beaches and ideal weather weren't enough, every December some of the coolest cars, trucks, and SUVs roll into the San Diego International Auto Show.
It's a phenomenal event. It's very exciting. We are just back after the 2-year pause, as are most of the other auto shows in North America. We closed down for 2 years, as did everybody else, and you have to keep in mind there's 65 auto shows in North America.
Like many in-person events, the San Diego Auto Show took a break for the past few years. The 2022 show was the first since 2019. The wide variety of new cars, cool tech, electric cars, activities, and hands-on learning is hard to beat. Here are a few highlights from this year's San Diego International Auto Show. The Dodge Hornet is one of the newest new models at the San Diego show. The Hornet is a compact crossover SUV from Dodge, and it's loosely based on an Alfa Romeo. A 265 horsepower turbo 4-cylinder engine is standard, but the RT model is a plug-in hybrid. That plug-in model can go about 30 miles on electricity alone. The Toyota Crown is also unique. Just as the Toyota Avalon is going away, the Crown arrives with a fresh new look and a reintroduction of a model American drivers haven't seen since the 1970s. The new Crown has a futuristic look and an elevated ride height. The 2023 Toyota Crown combines the best comfort features of a sedan and the tall driving position of a typical SUV. A hybrid is the standard powertrain on the new Crown. Another unique vehicle San Diego Auto Show attendees can see is the new Nissan Z. The design is clearly meant to remind us of Zs from the past. The taillights, the Z emblem, and the rear pillar, and the 3 gauges mounted in the center of the dash are all borrowed from Nissan Z cars of the past. Nissan also has the all-new Ariya electric SUV. The electric Chevy Bolt is worth looking at too for some who want an electric car at a moderate price. While many electric cars are in the $40,000 to $70,000 range, the Chevy Bolt is around $30,000. There's even a slightly larger version named Bolt EUV, which stands for Electric Utility Vehicle. For those who want to experience both gasoline and electric cars, Chevrolet, Ford, and VW offered in-car driving experiences just outside the exhibit hall. Never driven an electric car? Well, this is your chance. Jeep always has a way to truly experience their vehicles at the San Diego show. Camp Jeep is always a hit. This in-car experience is designed to highlight the off-road ability of Jeep vehicles. Through a series of ramps and obstacles, prospective buyers can see and experience wheel articulation, power, and hill climbing ability firsthand. One of the must-sees at the San Diego show is the Ford Bronco Raptor. This version of the Bronco makes more than 400 horsepower and has a 10-speed automatic transmission. To handle the roughest terrain, the Bronco Raptor includes upgraded suspension and 37-inch all-terrain tires. If you missed this year's show, make plans to attend in the future. The San Diego Auto Show is one of Southern California's most anticipated new car shows.
Getting organized is another task at the top of most people's resolution list. So our organizing expert has some ideas to protect your memories and declutter your space.
We all have boxes and closets and perhaps bins full of photos, and it's a big problem for many of us. So I'm going to share some simple tips that I'd like you to implement in your own lives and in your own home so that you can preserve these precious memories. This is a photo album that was put together by my mother's mother. Now, she passed away in 1930, so you can imagine how special these photographs are to this family. We want to preserve them by putting them on electronic digital media, and that way we can share these stories of family and we can make sure that these are always going to be protected. You'll find that you may run across some that have some damage to them. There are many services out there that can help you repair these damaged photographs. In addition to photographs, you may find that you have old letters that are very special. This letter was written by my grandmother to her own mother. Now, if this isn't special, I don't know what is. What you want to do though when you're organizing photos is to put them in a rough kind of order. So if you can break them up by year, and even further, if you can break them up by month, at least you can chunk it down and start dealing with the project in manageable pieces. So when you're ready to digitize your photos, you've got them all organized, they're ready to go, you can make a decision to do it yourself. I would suggest a scanner that has a high quality resolution on it so that you can create enlarged photos that are not pixelated and blurred. Or there's always services available out there. You can find services just by Googling electronic or digitized photos. Again, I recommend putting them in the cloud so that you have full protection in the event any kind of disaster happens in your home and you lose your photo albums. Remember, if you follow these simple tips and get your photos digitized and saved in the cloud, you will have family memories to share with people from now till eternity.
Another top resolution is to lessen our time on social media. And one way to do this is to determine a cutoff time every night where you won't look at your phone, not even a quick glance. Instead, use the time to write down one thing you're grateful for. And I bet you'll feel better about it than reading about the latest celebrity gossip. Don't you think? All right, let's see what's coming up next on Creative Living. We travel to Newport, Rhode Island to tour their historical mansions and a school that will up your grilling game. Traveling is a great way to broaden your horizons this year. And one destination should be Newport, Rhode Island, to tour its historical mansions.
The importance of preserving 250 years of architecture here in Newport is immeasurable, because Newport is really a laboratory. If one is interested in American domestic architecture, this is the place to come. It's an immersion in architecture, and that's why I think the work of the Preservation Society in taking care of so many houses, 11 of them, is so important.
The stories of the houses are the stories of the rich and powerful who built them, and the domestic staffs who made the houses operate. Without domestic staff, the houses were lifeless.
Downton Abbey teaches us a lot about servant life in England, and some of the servants here were Newporters who came to work for the families, and then after the summer season was over would go back to their homes here in Newport, and then others were transported up from New York or Philadelphia.
So there might have been as many as 27 domestic servants working on the inside of a house, and as many as 16 working on the grounds, handling the horses, handling the carriages. And so the domestic service living in the house was only part of the total domestic service staff. The early 1900s were a period when there was labor trouble everywhere, and Newport was not immune from it. As this article from the New York World from July 6, 1902 plainly indicates, the Elms had its own strike, and the Berwins had the standard response: they fired the entire staff. Domestic service was hard work and a hard way to make a living, but it had its rewards, especially for immigrants. This is an example of one of the really well-furnished servants' rooms that you'll see when you take the Servant Life tour at the Newport Mansions. We're in what we believe was Nellie Lynch's bedroom, and Nellie Lynch was in service at the Elms for a number of years. And we know a great deal about her, so when you take the Servant Life tour here, you're really going to get to know her from the memoirs of herself and her nieces. An important part of the quality of life for someone in domestic service was the quality of their own domestic facilities. And this one is an example of one of 3 that are on the servants' floor here at the Elms. Now, in the era when the great hotels were opening, like the Plaza in New York, if you've got a letter of recommendation from the Berwins or the Vanderbilts or the Astors saying you've been in domestic service for 18 years and I run the Plaza Hotel, you bet I want to offer you a job. There was tremendous upward mobility for people, not only there, but also in the great department store chains. This is Rudolph Stanish, who came to be known as the Omelet King, and he developed quite a reputation for making the perfect omelet, and it made him a national celebrity. In fact, here's a photograph with comedian Carl Reiner from the 1950s. If it can be said that the butler's pantry was the nerve center for any great house, then I guess the kitchen would certainly be thought of as the soul. And Chef Paul Pascal for many, many years presided over this incredible kitchen, very much like the kitchens in the great houses, not only of Newport, but New York and elsewhere. There are many, many more stories here at the Newport Mansions. Come visit us.
Don't go anywhere. We've got much more coming up on Creative Living. If you're looking to up your grilling skills, we've got a school for you. One of the best ways to make life less stressful is to take time out for the fun stuff. And one exciting outing is going to barbecue school. So let's see what they've got grilling.
My name is Anthony Reddick. I'm the owner of Phoenix Barbecue and Grilling School. Come on in, folks. The methods of barbecuing I teach here at Phoenix Barbecue and Grilling class are the understandings of temperature and concept of temperature, and understanding on the different types of grills, meaning like the smokers, gas grills, ceramics, and infrared. The people who attend our courses are couples, ladies only, men only. Sometimes it's a date night. We also have occasionally some children that come in. So on our typical 101 class, it's a 6-hour class. It starts off with in the morning. Everybody comes in, we go through some slides understanding the different types of grills and smokers, and then we teach you how to inject, how to put rubs on. We also have seafood and steak classes. Those are about 3.5 to 4-hour classes, and those are usually in the evening on a Saturday. We also do holiday classes 3 times a year, and we also do advanced smoking classes 2 times a year.
If you can cook it in an oven, I can cook it on a grill. And that's why I'm trying to tell you, a grill's perfect temperature is 350 degrees. The biggest mistake most people have is they turn their grill on and they don't know what temperature it is. And the reason I'm talking about this is they put a steak on there. The next thing you know is they gotta flip that steak over, and they gotta flip it over again, and they gotta flip it over again and flip it over again. Why? Because it keeps catching on fire. The natural juices are pouring out of it too fast, drying the steak out, which then is catching on fire. That's why we're flipping it and flipping it and flipping it and flipping it. So all we're trying to do is just understand how we can get to that temperature.
So we came out today because my girlfriend and I thought it would be a great idea to get this gift for our husbands for Christmas. Like to buy him an event or something as opposed to getting any kind of a gift. So they like to barbecue, so that's what we thought we'd do. He's a really good cook. He does most of the cooking at home.
I just bought a gas grill. I've never owned one before. I've always had charcoal, plus I have a Traeger grill. I just want to be able to make things the right way and maybe get a few tricks or tips or something like that.
The store here is open to the students. It's also open to people who, if they come in on the weekends when we're actually having a class, we open the store up for them. These are products that they can purchase, different types of thermometers, depends on what type of grill or smoker they have, injectors, we have spices and rubs, we have spatulas and knives, and just lots of tools that they can actually utilize while they're barbecuing. Phoenix Barbecue is open only seasonal. It's too hot in the summer. A lot of people want some private classes. Occasionally we'll do those in the summertime, but we are actually only open here for classes from October through April.
Kick that fat back beat.
Thank you for joining us here on Creative Living. I'm Jane Klaus, and we'll see you next time.